Alright, so this is my end of day recap for Friday. I was bearish biased, and here's the logic. So this week, open lower, expanded higher, reached the draw on liquidity. I wanted NQ to reach these further swings. Thursday did, and then this is pretty much S&P break, although I'm still counting the S&P with these size. I still think we should continue to reach for these, but nevertheless, we've hit the draw on liquidity. There's nothing beyond that in close proximity, so it makes sense to see a new phase of price. And if you look on ES, I don't have the TradingView subscription right now, so it's going to be a little hard to do this, but ES hit all-time highs on Thursday. And then YM, of course, is still bullshitting and being decoupled. So YM is the retard, but so yeah, so we actually kind of had this too. Actually, not. It doesn't matter. All right. So essentially, just viewing the framework on the daily in a way as like order pairing ranges, or external to internal back into pre-day range. But let's try to run the 4-hour. Oh, I can't replay. Oh my god, that's gonna make everything so much harder. So today opened up here. It did open up lower at first, but it didn't hit any key level. No, there's no S&T with that gap. As you can see, no S&T on ES or YM. YM is just consolidating. And then we've seen price. So we're pretty much consolidating as well, right? Today opened lower. Then we didn't engage with any key level. We just let failure swings. Then price expanded higher, which we know this is likely retracement because we're just leaving failure swings at the low of day, which is unestablished, which is great to see for bearish. And then price headed higher and engage with external range liquidity, right? A relevant swing. And so, which is pre-day high, right? Let me do this. So we're trading a reversal day, right? Obviously, away from pre-high. And so 6 a.m. reached that high, created S&T with ES and YM. And we created a strange switch second stage PSP on the 4-hour. And all these assets have failure swings at the lows. So we have the framework on the 4-hour. We have proper framework, right? The daily, we have framework as well. We have the narrative and the logic on why today could be bearish because of extremely bullish. I didn't even think about that actually. Well, right, we're within C3, C4, C5 continuation, but again, we've hit everything on Thursday. There's no reason to continue higher, and we're within C5. So it's obvious. We should probably see a new phase of price bearishly. And but when you don't have proper framework on the daily, even though we kind of do here, it's always ideal to have proper framework when forming the high or when framing the high of day or low of day, right? And we have that on the 4-hour here, where we got order pairing ranges. So 6 a.m. engage with the key level, created C2 confirming the high of day, right? And now I want to see 10 a.m. C3 continuation. We have the strange switch second stage SMT on the 4-hour. Let me just do this. So that's all I really need to see. Let's see how 10 a.m. is opening up. Right, and we have the strange switch second stage PSP as well on the 1-hour. Right here. And we did it at 9 a.m. How we formed this though is honestly really shitty. We engage with the site here at 8 a.m. but we hold the SMT kind of like 30 minutes as. If we go to 30 minute, create that SMT here, we react away from it at 8 a.m. We had string switch second stage up to here at 9 a.m. 8:30. But then 9 a.m. completely we just resweeps that, which makes sense because this is the 8 a.m. candle here, and it closed right here. So 9 a.m. is opening up near these highs. So it makes sense for 9 a.m. to resweep the high. And 9 a.m. created that strange switch second stage PSP, closed here. Or it didn't close here, but that was 9 a.m. closure. So we hit the key level with SMT. We didn't have, I don't think, strange switch second stage SMT prior to 9:30. Oh yeah, we did. We had a strange switch second stage PSP, but look how YM has these equal highs here. It's really shitty. You want all assets to be reversing away from a key level, from a relevant level, right? So the driver wasn't really clean, but nevertheless, 10 a.m. is opening up within an aligned swing. So the 1 hour 30 minute is aligned, the 4 hours aligned, and the daily is aligned. Although I would say the daily profile is more delayed, open low, high low. So we're going to be targeting current day low, which is technically the major on liquidity. And we have the strange switch second stage SMT at the reversal, so I can trade the initial swing points right away from the key level. See 3 continuation at 10 a.m. And 10 a.m. isn't creating a future gap, so I can trust at this high when we V-shape lower and create that CST on the 5 and 3 minute that is a proper protective swing. But you'll see that ES creates strange switching like this. At 10 a.m. Right? 10 a.m. made a lower high on NQ. 10 a.m. on ES made a higher high. So we have strange switching via swing point there as well at 10 a.m. And we want to see price V-shape away from that. Right when we create that strange switch, we want to see that clean V-shape. That is what confirms the SMT. And yeah, that's all I need to see. Everything's aligned. Strange switch second stage SMT at the reversal. We know the narrative supports. That's what we want to see. The bias is bearish, right? This is aligned with that. And so when 10 a.m. opens up here and creates that strange switch like that, it's just weird how we have these further swings though. But ES created that strange switch here. 10:05, right? Made the high above 920. This is 920 pretty much. This is the same high pretty much. 10:05. What do all assets do with a V-shape? The V-shape immediately after ES. What is YM doing at 10:05? Right, that's kind of bullshitting. It's really definitely not looking clean. Of course, YM is the weakest asset because of the right. We create SMT. YM is just so fucking decoupled, but let's figure this out. Let's see. Daily open, pre-day. So yeah, we created that SMT with pre-day around here. So overall weaker. ES is overall the middle asset, and obviously NQ is the strongest asset. Because it's about pre-day. But NQ going into 10 a.m. is obviously showing more weakness versus like ES and YM because of the PSP at 9 a.m. Which this is a strange switch fusion in a way. So, but yeah, but even like on the low time frame, it looks weaker. So overall, and another thing that's actually important too. I can't show the 90 minute, but I can do this. 9 a.m. opened up here, the 90 minute candle. supports that bearish expansion. But if you go into like YM, you may think this is the weakest asset, but mark out 9 AM open. It has a pretty large wick. So you wouldn't want to trade YM. You would want to trade either NQ or ES. But yeah, we have the trend switch at the reversal. So either or, it really doesn't matter. You can trade an ES at that point, because what does string switching mean at the reversal? Typically, that means all assets should reach the same draw liquidity. So it doesn't matter which asset you take, but overall, either you take NQ or ES. They're both like, you're not going to trade YM because of the 90-minute wick size, but NQ is kind of showing more weakness within time. So, and it is overall closer to the draw liquidity, to this low. Because if I at 9 AM closure, like if I show ES, we're way up here at 9 AM closure to this draw liquidity. Like if I mark out EQ or premium to discount, like we're above the higher quadrant level, right? Well, if I mark out NQ from the draw liquidity low to the high, we're below the higher quadrant level. So we're definitely like weaker overall, I would say, on NQ. So NQ definitely the better asset to take. And yeah, that would have been the trade right there. Off the closure. Or CSD. I would take the closure though. Stop at EQ, the wick. And then taper off at the draw liquidity, which is at 2.7 RR. Could have made it 2R right away too, as well. The reason why I didn't take this though is because I decided to clean and organize my room and just upstairs in general. So like late at night, so I ended up falling asleep at like 10 p.m., which is way later than I usually do, because I like to wake up very early, at like 2:30, 3 a.m. So instead I woke up at 5:30, which is 8:30 a.m. night time, or my time, 8:30 a.m. your time, I mean. And I showed up to the markets at around 9 a.m. I would say around 9:20, around that time mainly. And so I was automatically not a great start to my day. I was tired. So I was just kind of unprepared. I didn't prepare well, and that's very important when trading with trading. But also, so I just wasn't locked the fuck in, and I wasn't focused. It's as simple as that. And I had to move my laptop from my TV to my desk and all that. So, because I kind of like, I came to the markets around 9:20, and then I started moving everything over. Going into like 10 a.m. But yeah, this is still a pretty clean day. This is still a pretty clean day. I like it. It actually had logic behind it. It was pretty clean. Cleaner than literally Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Literally every day of this week, it was way cleaner. But yeah. What else? Yeah, I did. This just shows how tired I was. Forgot why I did take a demo trade at that exact time. Because I was like, I really don't care for today, because this whole week has been so ass, so decoupled, and shitty, and I was like, I really had no faith in today, even though it was clean. I was like, I just didn't give a fuck. And because of, like I said, everything else, I wasn't prepared, all that, so I just didn't have faith in myself with executing properly today, and I didn't really have faith in price delivering, even though it was still pretty clean. But oh damn, it's not gonna show it. That's weird. It was literally just showing it before I closed out of TradingView and relaunched it before I made this or started this video. Oh wait, that's why. Yeah, right there. All right. I took YM because I took it at 3-minute. We had the CSD here, and I took it right here, just because I didn't give a fuck. We didn't close it below it, but I was like, I knew we were going to deliver, most likely. Because it was clean, but I still didn't have faith in it. But we closed back above, and we finally priced. I had my stop originally here at this high, I think. Shooting for this here. So like NQ, like it was such a better trade on NQ. Logically, NQ would have been the entry, or SE would have won the take for sure. But I had my stop or entry here, stop here, and then price did that. Then it did that, and I was like, okay. Trail, once we created that 5-minute, here I trailed it, my stop to like here pretty much, or here. And then when price got to around here, I just moved it to here, and I just stopped looking at price after that. Because I knew I missed it, and I was like, oh, whatever. And then price, of course, very high res on YM. Price ultimately reaches a 1.8 RR, and then it just chops. It comes back up, and it came back above my entry. I would have been break even way, like, I would have been break even once we did like that right there down here probably, or yeah, for sure. So that would have definitely taken my break even if I did take YM, but it came back up, almost reached my stop loss at like almost pretty much break even. I think I reduced the risk by more than half, and then price goes back lower. It just stays within this consolidation area, but yeah. So that was at 10:06, which is quite literally right when price created this range, which on NQ. But yeah, I was already in YM. That's why I was like, fuck it. I seen that, and I was like, YM or NQ definitely for sure. But I'm not gonna lie, when I seen this SMT low form, I was like, I really didn't like that, but it was valid because it was ES creating this range switch. So, and then we V-shaped away cleanly. So, but yeah, yeah. So that was my week, or that was my day. So, no trade. 100% my fault. Of course, that's why this just shows like you cannot, no matter how you feel, no matter what happened yesterday, you know, you still got to show up on time and lock the fuck in and focus, even if you think PA is gonna be asked, because price has been asked lately, because it can provide something for you the next day. Like everything can change the next fucking day, bro. And you know, like it's back to back, and eventually it's like, eventually I'll learn. Eventually, you know, I just gotta build up strength. I just gotta lock the fucking. But also, you know, that's the same thing with Asia too. Asia will be like, I feel like I have no faith in Asia. That's why I've reduced my risk on how much, you know, how much I risk obviously when I trade during Asia, because I don't ever really trust it. Although Asia can be very clean, sometimes, but and that's very key when you just don't trust price, when you don't when you're fearful of entering, etc. Like psychology, the root cause of psychology and why we have psychological problems stems from the money, right? That's the only reason why we have psychological issues with trading. If you have issues with FOMO, or not really FOMO, but you know, fearing of entering, etc., just reduce your risk. And then also, you know, getting over that mentality of trading for the money, the need to make money, right? Once you pretty much work on that, or how can I explain this? I don't know, but yeah. But anyways, but yeah, Asia. Like I've been like lately, I've been seeing this time and time again. Like I'll show up to Asia, like at right when it opens up, or not right when it opens up, like maybe 30 minutes later after it opens, or an hour later, thinking that we're probably not going to do anything right away. Um, but of course, if we're going to trade Asia, that's obviously price has to be opening up near the refined key level, and sometimes price will. That's the first scenario, or it's like maybe the day yesterday manipulated, reaching to the key level, etc., printed strength with second stage of T, like last hour type shit, whatever. And then the next day should open up early on and expand, right? And that's why it's like you really got to show up to Asia right on time, and even like 30 minutes before, just like you know, New York AM, you want to show up at least 30 minutes before, do your narrative, build your narrative, and then apply GXT. But but I've seen time and time again that price will right away, within the first 30 minutes, hour of the day opening, it'll provide the setup and it'll deliver right away. And, you know, that's why it's like you really gotta, you know, just show up on time and lock the fuck in pretty much. But, anyways, I really want to say more. There's something else I want to say. I forgot though. But, um, yeah, I really not. I really don't care about what has happened this week. About missing this trade today. I really don't care. Like I said, next, you know, next week can provide something clean. It's probably going to clear up, I guarantee you. So it really doesn't matter. So on to next week.